My husband cheating on me again. I'm not sure what to do. Me and my husband together going on 10 years, married 5. He's cheating in the past, nothing physical, just flirting with other women and men online. We had a very rocky relationship. We were both very toxic when we were younger, but around 2019 things got better and we decided to get married. Before the wedding I found out I was pregnant. I was scared but really happy. While all of this is going out, an old friend's cousin reached out to tell me my friend and husband have been meeting up. She sent screenshots of a fake Facebook account where he was having conversations with her about meeting up before work. When confronted him, he said they have been meeting up because she reached out to him claiming she needed help and asking him for money. He says at first he just wanted to help her, but things just got out of hand. They flirted and he grabbed her back once, but it never went farther. At this point I'm not sure what to do. I'm pregnant and planning a wedding, everything is ruined. Ultimately we decided on getting married. It was a small wedding, really one of the happiest day of my life. I really thought all of the bullshit was behind us. I had my son in 202 a couple of weeks before the pandemic. When my son was maybe a month old, I asked if he was cheating again and if he would ever stop. He told me he wasn't sure and he doesn't think monogamy was for him. He didn't want to leave me, but he liked flirting with other people. We got into a huge argument where I told him I wasn't going to live like this anymore. I wasn't going to raise my son with him seeing his father cheat on me and not care. I wanted a divorce. This hurt, but I thought this would be best for my son and me. My husband said he didn't want to leave us. He wanted to be around our son and raise him as a family. We agreed that he would role play with other people online to get out the need, but once I told him I was uncomfortable he would stop. This deal wasn't in my best interest, but I wanted to try one more time to keep my family together. We started to go to therapy and honestly this really helped my self-esteem so much. I started back up my hobbies, going out with family and working. Being a new mom during the pandemic was hard, but it helped me find myself. We went through some hard times after the financially we were home and house hopping. But finally found a home when my son was 2. Everything was so much better and I fell in love with him all over again. Around the summer we got into an argument about him not feeding my son when he was saying that he was hungry. I told him he was neglecting him and my husband freaked out and asked for a divorce. It was a horrible argument that turned out to be a misunderstanding. He didn't know my son didn't eat, and since my son was about to go out with family, knew he would eat with them. Knew he was hungry and didn't understand why he wouldn't feed him. I could have gotten up and made the food, but I didn't. I can't remember why at this point. I just know I was extremely pissed off. After this argument my husband started to tell me how he's been holding in all of his feelings and there's so much he doesn't complain about, so many of his needs not met. I was really taken aback by this because whenever I have a problem I tell him, so I start to listen to what he was saying, trying to make it better. I knew I was in the wrong here. No question. But nothing I did was good enough. I did everything he asked while still working full-time 6'2", taking my son to work with me until it was time for school and trying to keep the house clean. He just got madder. He told me he's been out of the marriage a while just doing things to make me happy and he thinks it's too late for me to fix it. I snapped out because I didn't know he had these feelings and I wished he would have told me before. I thought the divorce was happening. He had to get surgery around this time and could have died if we were delayed. I was really scared. Regardless of what was happening, he is my best friend and I don't want to lose him. On the day he was being discharged from the hospital I was supposed to pick him up, but they discharged him early. We don't drive, so I had a family friend coming to pick me up to go get him, but because he was leaving early I panicked. My phone was off. His phone was off. I couldn't contact him. I finally was able to reach out right and told him to just meet me at the hospital. I got on the bus freaking out, but I just thought he would stay at the hospital and wait for me, but when I got there he was gone. I connected to the hospital Wi-Fi and got a flood of messages from him saying this is why he wants a divorce. He couldn't depend on me. I connected the ride and told him that my husband must have walked home and to ride around and find him. He found him getting off the bus. I was relieved, but I couldn't believe he thought I would abandon him. I've never done that. They picked me back up and the ride told my husband it was all a misunderstanding, but that didn't seem to matter to him. The arguments calmed down from yelling after that, but he would say cold things and I assumed the marriage was over, so I started to plan my out. I couldn't make it better no matter how hard I tried. I needed money and had to think about daycare. I needed a car. I was so sad and depressed, but I still had my son. He needed me. Suddenly out of nowhere he started being nice, sweet, loving, caring. He wanted to spend time together. He wanted to get therapy. It freaked me out because I was sure we were done. In our entire relationship he was never this loving. I confronted him about it and he said he decided to stop blaming me for everything that was wrong. He still had trauma from our past, but he appreciated me and our life and he sees that he was taking out all his anger on me. I was definitely suspicious, but he never faltered. I lost my job and he started working overnights, so all the housework and my son fell to me alone. We would spend time together before he went to work, but it wasn't much. I was so overwhelmed. At this point he was on his phone a lot. Still role-playing, but he never put his phone down. I would have to beg him to spend time with our son. He would get really upset and annoyed. He told me he was doing one finally group roleplay then leaving the site, that's why he was in he phone so much. I just dealt with it because he would finally stop and I wouldn't have to feel insecure about it. Also changed his work schedule so he would be home more to help out. One night while we were sleeping I decided to go through his phone. I didn't check the site he used because I already knew what would be in the messages. We had an understanding, but I looked through his Discord and Facebook. I found out in 2023 he started flirting with exes and random girls, had a bunch of nudes saved, and found out he had started some relationships. I checked his Cash App and saw he had just sent money to a woman a week before and I freaked out. He was doing it again and enough was enough. I woke him up, told him we were getting a divorce and started getting dressed. Everything from that point is kinda a blur. I remember him trying to hug me, I remember crying and then having to get my son ready for school. Then everything went numb. We talked about why he would do this and he said it was when he was out of the marriage that he's been happy, but he was never going to tell me about this. I also found out that he was planning to start a relationship with another woman, but it stopped when he realized he wanted to be with me. She was the one he sent money to. She still has friend and going through a lot. I honestly felt sick. The night I wasn't numb anymore, I was ready to die. I was under so much stress already and this broke me, so I wrote 2 notes, one to him and one to my son. I ripped up my wrist and laid back down ready to go. But I got scared and woke him up. He didn't really calm me down, but I just cried myself to sleep. The next day he told maybe he should stay away from me and I decided to walk into traffic. I left and wondered until I made it back home where he was waiting for me. He looked so worried and he cried and held me saying he would be here for me, but I had to stop. That we could do the marriage counseling, he would delete the app, he would try. Things have been tense. I don't think I'll ever trust him and I hate myself. I don't know what to do. My son has no idea. My family doesn't know. I don't have anyone to help me. Me and his sister are close. She's been taking my son so I could get a break. He's been hiding from his family because he's ashamed. How long can I keep this up? Stand up for once and break the news to your family and get the support you need. Why would you carry all this weight and hide so much of this from people that should show you love and be there to support you? Don't put yourself on an island because you think it's shameful. It's his shame and you should be letting everyone know. This is why it's been so bad. Because you keep it a secret and that allows them to get away with all sorts of crap. Blow it up and let the world know. Find your support system.